In 1999, the Women's National Disc Golf Championship was held at Hornets Nest Park in Charlotte, North Carolina, and here in Rock Hill, South Carolina at the Winthrop Disc Golf Course. After a long hiatus as of 2021, we are back here in Rock Hill, South Carolina for the Throw Pink Women's Disc Golf Championship. Round number 2 is about to begin, but first, Tournament Central Time. Brian Earhart, Nate Perkins. We have 3 Europeans and a teenager on the lead card. Nate, break it down for us. Eveliina Salonen is in the lead.
Well, first, that's quite the trivia fact there, Brian. I had no idea Women's Nationals was here in 1999. And, yeah, what an event that must have been, right? This place must have been a completely different town in 99. But, yeah, we have an interesting lead card today. I really feel like Eveliina and Henna play at their best when they're playing together. They were playing together yesterday, and Eveliina shoots the course record bogey in the first hole, Brian, and she hit that mando tree, just turned around and said something and finished to Henna and just kind of laughed it off like it really was inconsequential, and that attitude carried her through the rest of that round. And we're going to run back some of her golf yesterday. This is the approach on 2. Just full send around the right side of the tree. There's OB right there on the right. No problem. That's in the bullseye.
She was first in C1 regulation, first C2 regulation, first fairway hits, second in park jobs, first in birdies. Nate, she was absolutely on fire yesterday off the tee.
This is hole 6, dialing up that skip to perfection there. And the next hole, hole 7, that's a laser with the mid-range.
Every shot just has looked committed out of her hand, and the putting has looked fantastic as well. She was 9 for 12 from Circle 1X, a huge triumph, and there's no surprise that she's up towards the top, or potentially up towards the top after round number 2 today.
And one of the few athletes going for it on the 9th. Just checks up short of that OB, and that is the eagle bid right there. Those are the putts that are the difference. Those deep Circle 1 putts, she's returned. I mean, the putt is back. There's no doubt about it at this point.
Well, she said at Women's USWDGC that the game feels fun for her again. She used to step up to 15-footers shaking in her boots, knowing that there's a potential for the disc to go sideways. And she's not feeling that right now. The putt's coming out of her hand fantastic, good speed, not a lot of wobble. It looks like she's actually sending the disc with intention, and we never have to question the forehand or the backhand from Eveliina. She's just been throwing the disc so well all season long, pretty much leading all driving categories, no matter what tournament or course that she was at. We do have an interview with Eveliina after her incredible 11 under par round yesterday. Let's take a listen.
You have 11 under, just 1 bogey on the round. What do you feel like needs to change, if anything, tomorrow? Will it be any different?
Yeah, I just realized that I think I had only 3 holes where I didn't have birdie putt, so my driving was great. And yeah, I think I can make more putts.
Do you think 11 under can be improved upon? Do you think you have even a better score in you for tomorrow?
I don't promise anything, but I think I can still play a couple shots better.
Well, staying present, and then again, she had a birdie putt on 15 of the 18 holes, as you listened to her say. Pretty solid day out there on the disc golf course for Eveliina, but also for her good friend, Henna Blomroos. 10 under par, clean 10 under par. Also another similar day to Eveliina, nearly leading all the driving categories. Nate, what do you make of it?
Well, what'd she say yesterday? That she was playing the course safe, and then she shot a double-digit round. I mean, she started off hot yesterday, Brian. This is a clean putter shot on the first hole. Just gets it to float right over the log. Actually hits the top of it. Controls the speed there. Oh, we're going to run it back. That's actually ideal. Just hit that top of the log, going to slow it down right outside the bullseye. And then these are the putts that we're just not used to seeing her really cash. The putt on 2 from 50 feet. A lot of loft on that one.
You just wonder what her and Eveliina are talking about as they both have putting successes. You wonder if they're kind of celebrating together and game planning. I remember them both putting at a course in Waco just going back and forth and sharing ideas with each other. Paul Ulibarri was even there watching them putt and kind of giving them some pointers. They've been working on this so hard all season long, and it's so endearing to see them come out on top 1-2.
Henna also attacking there on 9, gets that one into circle 1, goes on to actually miss that eagle putt. But then look how flat this delivery is on hole 10. That's 330 feet, no problem with the fairway right there, just outside the bullseye. And then what do you think about those standstills, Brian? I mean, she's throwing those like standstill approaches from up to 300 feet. Here's another one right here.
What's interesting is she is relying on just incredible torso rotation and flexibility in the upper back here, because she's not lifting her back leg off the ground, even when she's throwing a driver 75-80% power with those standstills. So I would say one of the most impressive in the game. You see that she's not lifting the back foot up, and it allows her to not put extra speed into the shot. So it takes that whole footwork out of the picture. So I think it's great. I think for a player like her, with such flexibility, with such potential for speed and power, that's a shot you have to have. With that, we have an interview as well with Henna after her 10 under par. Let's take a listen.
I feel good. It was fun. I really enjoyed playing, and I didn't make any really big mistakes. And yeah, I feel good. At least on the first round, it feels really good to start hot and get the confidence from there. So I think that's a big thing for me.
What is the strongest part of your game on this course? Obviously, you drive very well, but what do you feel like you really lean into? What's the strongest thing for you out on the course?
Driving, absolutely, but I'm playing pretty safe. I don't take any big risks there, so I think that's the point.
Well, chasing the Finns down today is Kristin Tattar, who's in a very solid positioning. But she went out of bounds 3 times yesterday, so the times when she did make mistakes, she did get punished for it. She parked 7 holes for birdie. She was throwing the disc phenomenally well, other than those few mistakes. You got to follow her all day. What did you pick up?
Yeah, I feel like the 3 OB strokes, I mean, we can break them down individually. Hole 3 was not a crazy mistake. I mean, you're not able to get that wind read on that hole, and she just got the nose up a little bit, and it just leaked a little long and left. So if that checks up just, a few feet shorter, she's in position, throws it exactly where she wants to. And then she just kind of leaked that one on 18 out, just like a lapse of focus. And she was just pitching up like, a couple hundred feet and just leaked that one out. The 3 OB strokes, Brian, are the difference between her having that course record or being on this lead card at 8 under par. That shot, though, hole 5 across the water, that's really what got the crowd going there. Just has the perfect distance for her 12 speed. It's the 350, 360 mark, that's probably a 90% shot for Kristin. I mean, she's not throwing it super fast, is she, Brian?
No, she's not. I think she even says maybe 380 is her comfortable range, and that's perfect. I mean, we watch how the courses are laid out. You don't have to throw over 400 feet to score well on pretty much any track that they see. So Kristin is dialed in that range that a lot of players struggle with, and she almost never misses an up and down. And I think that's the biggest ticket for Kristin. That's why she's able to beat people so consistently. If you get up and down from a little bit of a tricky lie 2 or 3 times a day, that's 8 strokes over the course of a weekend, and that's how she's been able to beat people by so much. She rarely makes the simple mistake, even in a 4-5 round tournament. That's why she is the 2-time world champion at this point. With that, we have interview again from Kristin. Let's hear what she had to say about her 8 under par effort.
The very first rendition of this, Missy Ganon won with a 2 under par. Kona got second place with an even. This is after 4 rounds. So what can you attest the score difference in today? I mean, was the course playing easy for you, you feel?
I don't want to say easy, but it felt easy because I was having a lot of bullseye hits. Then it feels like, oh my gosh, it's like everything's coming so easily. It's going great. But the next day you can come out here and always struggle. So that's the beauty of disc golf. Anything can happen. We still have 3 more rounds. It's just awesome to see all these ladies shoot so well, and it shows where the FBO division is headed.
Well, Nate, you bring up a great point. I mean, the scoring has been incredible this week, and we just continue to see everyone in the division, including Missy Ganon, who won in 2021 with a 200 par, evolving rapidly, having an average round and beating that total score in one day. We have to also talk about the new player that's joining us on the lead card, 16-year-old Eliezer Midtlyng. We've been talking about her ever since we saw her in Rochester.
Yep.
She blew me away, at least from a technique standpoint, to be that young and to be able to send that much energy into the disc. Look at the disc. That is 70 miles an hour of speed coming out of her hand. This is the world distance champion beating Ella Hansen. This is also now the United States distance champion. She is smoking the disc. Look how much energy she sends into that brace foot. I think this is the start of something incredible. I think she is going to be a menace on the tour for years to come.
Yeah, I can't wait for people to watch her swing today and just how fast she throws it. I mean, she also, Brian, has a bit of that kind of distance complex where she is smiling. She's like, I know I can throw it far. I'm going to entertain people right now. And it's time to do that. I mean, why not? When you're young, you're on the cameras, like, let it rip. Here she is on hole 7 yesterday, showing a bit of control, making it through that triple Mando.
I mean, you look at the
Strong
putting
putt.
stroke. Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. The putting stroke looks good. The touch looks good. The power looks good. She just has to rein it in. And right now, like you said, go ahead. You know, show off a little bit. Showcase your skills at the top level. Get used to throwing those aggressive lines. The golf will come, the scoring will come, the psychology will come, but you'll never know how good you can truly be until you try it at the top level. This is her opportunity, Nate.
Brian, that was a frozen rope on 18, well past the ideal landing zone. She's going to be the first FPO player ever to card the 3 on 18, and there it is right there from 22 feet. Wow.
Well, Nate, we did get to catch up with Eliezer after her round, making it to the lead card of pretty much a major championship. Let's hear what she had to say.
So impressive to see what you did out there during round 1. What are your initial reactions as to how your round went today?
Great. I didn't expect it. I mean, I knew it's a scoreable course, but I didn't expect to do well in the tournament with all the nerves.
Pretty incredible. Talk about the nerves that you may have had coming into this. You've jumped onto the scene just in the last couple of years for the whole world to be watching. Talk about any nerves you might have had.
Whew, well, my stomach was turning when I showed up and everything. I had a lot of nerves. It was shaky and nervous.
Is there anyone or any form that you've been watching over the years to arrive at the distance you are? Because that's incredible.
Not
distance.
really, but lately, yeah, I've been watching a lot of like Ganon, Paul, Haley King, and that stuff. So yeah.
She's studying the hyzer flip thrower, she's studying the flat thrower, and then she's studying a player like Haley King, who's kind of done both throughout her career. Not too bad to be studying those, but we have to fly 18. She did card that incredible 3, and Nate, we have to talk about the difficulty of this hole, because on camera, you don't quite see the nuances here. The tee shot is wonderful because it's a placement shot. Mid-range is sufficient. Driver gets you a pretty big advantage if you want it. But it's sloped ever so slightly down to the left to where a forehand is not a surefire bet. If you hit with too much angle, it's a coin toss whether or not you're going to stick or roll all the way down left OB. Backhand, you kind of have to fade with the slope to get it to land flat. And then the second shot, Nate, talk about how tough and how intricate this second shot is. I personally think it's one of the toughest in our sport.
Yeah, it really depends on your footing. There's one flat spot in the center of the fairway that's the ideal spot to land from, but most of the time you're throwing with your front foot is going to hit a little higher than your back foot, and it's really all upper body to get that angle correct, and you have that one tree on the right that forces you to throw pretty low, but you need the height to carry far enough because it's hard to get the depth perception right on this one. So many people throw this one inside OB. You really want to see that disc disappear around the corner before it skips if you really want to park this one.
Well, what's tough is if you watch the shots that actually get up into deep circle 1, they get into the bullseye, they leave your sight before they hit the ground, and it takes so much trust and understanding of the hole and where you are in the hole to actually throw a good shot. A shot that kind of stripes the middle of the fairway from where you are is not going to be a good shot unless you're throwing something with monster skip, which is, again, bringing risk into play. Just a very enjoyable technical hole that really makes you think. With that said, we have more disc golf to talk about, folks. We have chase card action to talk about, but first, a commercial break here on the Disc Golf Network.
The Innova Rolo, the disc made for rolling. 4. The Rolo, making rollers fun.
Your rating is one of the most valuable things you get with a membership. This gives you accurate numbers to track how well you've been doing and your overall improvement in the game. You also get a member number when you register with the PDGA. Your PDGA number is a stamp for when you got involved in the sport. It's a badge of pride for players and a part of your disc golf identity. Get your number today. Visit pdga.com/join.
One thing we all love about disc golf is it's a lifetime sport. Whether you play pro, am, juniors, or senior grandmasters, we all want to play this sport as much as we want and for as long as we want. This can introduce wear over time, potentially hindering your ability to continue playing. A cart reduces the cumulative stress on your body that comes with repetitive motions such as reaching down and lifting. This will help keep you on the course, maximizing your athletic potential and playing your best.
Watch the Throw Pink Women's Disc Golf Championship and more upcoming live pro disc golf events on the Disc Golf Network. Use the code THROWPINKTC, all one word, at checkout for 20% off your first month subscription. Scan the QR code or hit the link in the description below to subscribe today and watch the rest of this disc golf season as it unfolds, and tune in for some fantastic off-season content as well. But before the off-season hits, we got the Throw Pink Women's Disc Golf Championship. We have Owen Scoggins to talk about. She's in a tie for 5th place with 4 other players, Nate. I think her effort initially was very solid. Do you think she has what it takes to shoot that double-digit mark?
Absolutely, she does, Brian. I mean, this course sets up great for Owen, and yesterday she missed 4 inside the circle, and 2 of those were inside 15 feet, and I have to think that has to do a little bit with the pain that she's feeling in the forearm. This putt, though, on the third That was for the par save after going OB early. No question that owns actual distance, and the shapes that she likes to throw are great for Winthrop. That one hits off the rim and climbs in. I have to think that the wobble had a little bit of something to do with that, but yeah, she was really a showman out there. I mean, every time, you know, she had something favorable happen, she would look at the crowd and lift her arms up and crack a joke.
Well, what I like about her chances right now is that she says forearm feels just fine. She is totally fine throwing the forehand, using that muscles, no worries. And on this course, throwing the forehand is fantastic. I mean, you can definitely bite off more if you have both, but if she doesn't have to throw the backhand, she can rely on the forehand for pretty much every hole out here, minus maybe 15. A couple others that maybe I'm not thinking about, but left to right shots out here, anything with counterclockwise spin, does quite well. Like you said, though, when you're missing 4 putts from 15 feet or so, I have to think the same thing, Nate. I have to think maybe those shorter putts are harder for her to control with the pain that she's feeling. When you're outside the circle and you're throwing with a little bit more force, it's probably easier to use some bigger muscles and just send the disc out into space and let it drop in the bucket. But with that said, we've seen her do crazier things before. Alexis Mandujano is now in this tie for 5th place. Alexis, notably one of the fastest players in the game.
Yeah.
Doesn't take much time at all when she steps up to the tee pad to throw. Had a great effort out there early in the day. I like the way Alexis plays the game. I like the way she throws the disc. And obviously one of the best long putters on the tour right now. Thoughts on her chances for the rest of the week?
Yeah, it's great to see Alexis on this chase card. I mean, I thought that we were going to cover her first win, where Owen actually ended up taking that down back at the Mid-America, and she hasn't really found that rhythm since then. I think we've seen that a few times this season where a player's close to tasting the victory, and then it's almost like the failure there is just weighing them down, and they're not able to get back into that space where she shot that 10-30 rated round to open. But played pretty clean yesterday. A couple back-to-back mistakes there on 6 and 7. Those are holes where if you don't get the line right, it's a birdie if you do, it's a bogey if you don't. You're likely finding the out of bounds, or you're going to miss the Mando there on 7. So that's 4 strokes right there if she turns those around. And yeah, Alexis certainly does play fast, Brian. It's hard to keep up with her. Imagine being a cameraman trying to follow her around.
Well, we've heard the cameramen notoriously say that she's one of the players you have to be on your game when you're following, because she's not going to be paying attention to where you are. She's ready to play golf, and I think today it's going to be no different. We have another European player in the mix. Katie allsalu shot a solid round out there. We watched her at the European Open. Solid player. Mm-hmm. What do you make of another European coming up in the mix?
Yeah, another Estonian, and you know she's got the little pump fake, and she's got the footwork similar to Kristen. There's no doubt that she's inspired by her Estonian champion, and she's throwing the hyzer through the Mando on 7. Not a play that we see too often. Clean putt there, nice flat delivery on her putting stroke. And this is going to be a good display of her distance. No problem getting this one up to speed. That's hole 10. That's a 330-foot carry.
Nate, I just think she's another one of those players that's getting her distance up to that 380 mark. She might even be able to push farther than that. And the bar is just continuing to rise from that standpoint. I think that's why we're seeing so many more scorers come in hot. Not necessarily just raw max distance, but players that are able to throw a fairway driver that distance now, rather than having to stretch out something flippy and fast. It's allowing the players to throw more controlled. They're able to make better decisions out there on the disc golf course, and I think allsalu is another one of those players in the mix that's doing that. Got to talk about Missy Ganon also in the mix, tied in that 5th place spot. Mm-hmm. Do you think, Nate, that where they are right now is out of the win?
Oh, no chance. They're in this game. I mean, we have 3 more rounds. I mean, there's 7 back of Eveliina, but they're 4 back of 3rd place. So 4 under, you're still well in this. And Missy just not making a lot of mistakes. She was just out of position to score quite a bit, you know, sprinkling the birdies in there. A couple of late mistakes there on 16 and 17, but she played clean. That off the basket on hole 2. And then this putt to also save her par on the 3rd. I mean, she was playing her game yesterday. She was putting really well from mid-circle 2. This is a great skip shot on 6. This is just a classic hole, Brian. played it to perfection, gets back into the sand.
She had a solid stretch. I mean, you get up to 16, 17, there's OB everywhere. It's very easy to make the mistake on 17. I think it's hard for a player to get out of 4 rounds here at Winthrop without making a mistake on 17. So hopefully she can make a correction there. 16, I think she's probably disappointed with her effort there. Taking a bogey really shouldn't happen, especially with the FPO basket where it is. It's not as far back and funneled as the MPO basket. So these are mistakes that she can easily clean up, and I think we could see her go deeper under par. My question for you is, if she goes 4, 4, 4, 4, where's that going to put her?
I don't think that's going to be enough, Brian. There's a little rain out there right now. The sun's going to peek out, but the wind is just not going to be here. It's not going to be here today. It doesn't look like it's going to be here through the weekend. So if that is the case, I don't think 16 under par is going to be enough to take down the throw pink. I think you're going to need something in that 25 to 30 range based on how the scores were yesterday.
Well, we have one more player that can get to that mark. We've seen her do it throughout the season. She's had quite a breakout year without taking down that big victory. Holland Handley, quick thoughts on Holland, quick thoughts on the way that she plays this course. What do you think?
Well, one of the players with the highest potential off the tee. I actually have not had the chance to see her new putt. I heard you mention that she's actually switched to a little bit of a nose down. Yeah, she was putting it nose up. She said she was getting a lot of spit outs, so I'm keen to go see that new putt. I love watching her play because I love a big power forehand, and she probably has the best one in the FPO division right now. We haven't seen Holland play to her potential yet. I mean, she's that third place finish at Worlds to Kristin last year is when we really understood what her potential is, but we still haven't seen her just put together even one complete round. So very keen to see that new nose down putt though.
Yeah, I feel like we've seen her potential in moments. We've seen her potential in stretches, but not an entire weekend. So this is her opportunity to do that. You take down a Throw Pink championship. It's a pretty solid title to take down regardless of the letter next to it. With that said, we're going to throw it down to the ground. We're not going to keep yapping any longer. We got disc golf action coming right at you. For Brian Earhart and Nate Perkins, we're wrapping up. You're going to be seeing us all week, folks. We'll see ya.
One, two, three. One, two, three. Let's go.
PDGA Event Support Helpline.
Hey, I was wondering if I could add some rules to my tournament to make it a little unique.
Sure. You just need a waiver from the Director of Event Support.
Okay, great. An island green?
Shouldn't be a problem.
And elevated baskets?
Yeah, we get those all the time.
Oh, and forehands only?
Sarah, we've been over this.
Sorry. I mean, but I don't see why we can't try it. I mean, everyone loves forehands. Like, you can go right, you can go left, you can throw straight, you can throw high, you can throw low.